Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, December 27, 2024. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Governor General Dame Susan Duggan, in her Christmas message to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, has made a heartfelt appeal for peace to prevail across the nation. Reflecting on the challenges and struggles faced by citizens throughout the year, the Governor General acknowledged the difficulties posed by issues such as health concerns and fears for personal safety, particularly due to what she described as the senseless murders that have marred society. Despite these hardships, Dame Susan Duggan expressed admiration for the resilience of the Vincentian people.
During these times of diverse challenges, of which 2024 had its fair share, Vincentians have continued to show resilience in addressing the many setbacks. Despite the many challenges faced, we were fortunate to witness boosts in several sectors of the economy. We pray for a prolonged period of calm from natural catastrophic events so that more sectors of the economy can show growth. I am continuing to make a call to those who disturb our quiet environment to try love, goodwill, and the tolerance to resolve differences. I especially ask those responsible for the spate of senseless killing in our nation to use this season of goodwill to come to the realization that crime has never been a solution for anything. Let peace prevail.
In a message, the Governor General also urged both the corporate and public sectors to continue offering quality services to the citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the year ahead. As the nation prepares for the 2025 general elections, Dame Duggan called on all Vincentians to demonstrate respect and civility, particularly as they exercise their democratic rights.
Next year, Vincentians are expected to go to the polls to elect their representatives in our parliament. I am fully aware the contest will be competitive and may cause hurtful exchanges. I urge all parties to conduct this exercise with the highest level of respect and that the democratic process will be the winner. My fellow Vincentians, we recognize that the Christmas season is for giving to family and friends. I urge you to remember the disadvantaged persons among us, the lonely, the sick, the elderly, and the homeless. I wish to take this opportunity to offer encouragement to all public workers who have tirelessly provided the necessary services to our nation. Civil servants, police, medical personnel, development partners, business and corporate partners, the churches, and the community leaders are all providing human service to our nation.
Looking toward the future, Dame Susan Duggan encouraged all citizens to be more productive in the coming year. In his Christmas message, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves emphasized that the holiday season brings joy and happiness, and he urged the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to carry that spirit throughout the year. While acknowledging the many challenges the nation has faced, Prime Minister Gonsalves stressed that peace, love, faith, and renewed hope are essentials as the country moves forward.
It is a time when we rightly prioritize family get-togethers, good neighborliness, community spiritedness, national unity, and reflections individually on life and living now and for the future. It is a season to engender joy and happiness, even amidst personal pain, community travails, national challenges, and global turmoil. We especially acknowledge that whatever the ups and downs of the past and present, only the future is ours to desecrate. So we seek to ensure that we are on the right track going forward, individually and collectively, with the power of an amazing grace.
Reflecting on the past year, the Prime Minister highlighted the tragedy of Hurricane Beryl, which caused significant devastation across the nation. Despite the challenges, the Prime Minister noted that progress has been made in the recovery efforts.
The government, in tandem with a resilient people, in partnership with some friends from overseas, are in the long and arduous task of relief, recovery, and reconstruction. Significant progress has been made through multiple initiatives, including those in housing, production, and income supports. Still, much more work is to be done, and we will get there day by day, sweet Jesus. It is necessary and desirable for all of our nation to remember those who have died, the thousands of affected and displaced persons by Hurricane Beryl, including the 500 or so who are still in shelters, and the approximately 600 who are in touristic accommodation, guest houses, apartments, courtesy of a caring government. The children and the elderly among the displaced are daily in my thoughts, prayers, and actions.
As the nation looks ahead to 2025, the Prime Minister outlined several key matters that will take precedence in the new year. Among the first priorities, Dr. Gonzalez mentioned the presentation of the budget estimates and the upcoming budget debates. He emphasized that the government's focus will be on critical programs aimed at further developing the country's infrastructure, economy, and social services.
Early next year, ladies and gentlemen, the estimates of revenue and expenditures will be presented to Parliament for debate and approval on January the 3rd. And on January the 6th, the appropriation bill will be presented to Parliament, kicking off the budget debate. Consequent upon these deliberations, the bill is expected to be approved. I assure everyone that the estimates and appropriation bill are crafted to suit our precise circumstances in every material particular. Like Issachar, the leader of one of the 12 tribes of Israel, who in the book of Chronicles was esteemed because he knew the times and he acted accordingly. So too will our government.
Also, in his Christmas message, Prime Minister Gonzalez revealed the contents of a letter he wrote to all leaders, calling for an end to the turmoil caused by ongoing wars that have direct or indirect consequences for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Prime Minister expressed deep concern about the global instability affecting small island nations, noting that the repercussions of international conflicts reverberate far beyond the borders of the warring countries. The letter was addressed to U.S. President Joe Biden, Russian President Vladimir Putin, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres.
Your Excellencies, greetings to each of you from the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, one of the smallest member states of the United Nations. I write in a quest for global peace, justice, security, prosperity for all humanity, grounded in the fundamental tenets of international law, the precepts of the Charter of the United Nations, and multilateral engagement. I'm making a humble plea for an honorable, negotiated end immediately to the war in Ukraine. The war in Ukraine has been raging since February 2022 and has recently entered the most dangerous phase of escalation, which portends a hitherto unthinkable nuclear Armageddon. To civilized men and women across the globe, the war is senseless, as it has been brutal and completely unnecessary.
In the letter, Prime Minister Gonzalez urged the leaders to work towards peace and to prioritize diplomatic solutions to the ongoing conflicts which have had profound global implications. Dr. Gonzalez is of the view that the war, particularly the conflict in Ukraine, can be brought to an end through peaceful negotiations despite the likely dissatisfaction of some parties involved.
It is evident to all persons of reason who apply their hearts to wisdom that this war will not end with military triumph for one side or another. Posturing and protracting this contestation on the field of battle make no sense, practically or ideationally. It is not in my place to prescribe what a likely negotiated peace would look like, but I feel sure conceptually that neither side in this war would be completely satisfied with any terms of a peace settlement. Thus, each side must be prepared to arrive in peace at a mutually agreed condition of dissatisfaction. In time, this agreed condition of dissatisfaction, which is preferable to continued war, may evolve propitiously into a more settled bundle of satisfactions.
The Prime Minister further emphasized the need for collective international efforts to address the root causes of conflict and to promote peace and security across the globe. In other local news now, we heard that veteran journalist Shelley Clark, who served as editor and managing director of the News newspaper, was laid to rest today following a funeral service at the St. George's Cathedral in capital Kingston. Clark, who made significant contributions to the media landscape in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, passed away on Friday, December 13, 2024. He was also well known for his work at Radio St. Vincent and the Grenadines, now NBC Radio, where he served in various capacities over the years. At the funeral service, emotional tributes were paid to Clark, who was described as not only a dedicated journalist, but also a family man.
I want to thank everybody for being here today, for all the support and love. The other day also, I saw all the tributes paid to him online, like on Facebook. You know, people sending their love. And reading all of that, I realized how he was loved throughout St. Vincent. He had friends. He was just loved. I mean, all the tributes were touching. So to those people who are viewing this live, thank you so much for your love and support. I mean, we really appreciate it. We read everything. We read your tributes. We read your kind words and condolences. So thank you very much. You know, it is heartbreaking that work-inflicted stress hastened his departure. Those who know, and those who don't know will know. Thank you.
But even with his stern demeanor, he was my greatest ally and my closest confidant. My father was a man who always put his work and others before himself. He had an unmatched sense of duty and commitment, ensuring that everyone around him was taken care of, often at his own expense. This selflessness was one of his most defining qualities and something I will always admire. From as far back as I can remember, I was my father's shadow. I followed him to his office, clinging to his legs as he moved around. And even at home, I would eagerly share every detail of my day with him, no matter how trivial it might have seemed. That bond between us was unbreakable.
Those who knew him spoke of his deep commitment to his country and unwavering passion for journalism. Clark was remembered as a fearless individual who made an indelible mark on the journalism profession in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Shelley was an outspoken person. Shelley was a fearless person. He did not take on what others wanted to say about him. He held his opinions, and I respected Shelley for his positions on a number of issues. We might not agree on certain issues, but it is important that when we live in a democratic society, that people are allowed to express themselves no matter what their political or other religious or other kind of beliefs.
It was a sense of sadness and great loss that this great writer has laid down his pen. the literary sword that has sliced the conscience of many around the way in this country, whether they were religious, political, or from the business sector. He had no axe to grind, and his sword was always sharp, back and belly. In some quarters, some persons are breathing a sigh of relief that Shelley is no longer with us, as their antagonist is no more. But Shelley has left a legacy and a sharpened sword, and anyone who picks it up better beware, because if not handled carefully, that same sword the person who's wielding that sword can become its victim, but at the same time, if wielded properly, will bring kingdoms to their knees, because the pen is mightier than the sword.
Shelley is a very stubborn person. He has strong views, and you have to be good to sort of persuade him against otherwise. So the few times when I was able to do that, I pat myself on the shoulder. But Shelley was very stern, and if you read his editorial, you'll realize that he was fearless, and I think he has left a legacy with his signature on the newspaper. To his family and friends, my deepest condolences, and may Shelley's soul rest in peace.
Shelley Clark's contributions to journalism and media in St. Vincent and the Grenadines will continue to be remembered by all those whose lives he's touched throughout his career. He leaves behind a rich legacy of service, dedication, and excellence in the media industry. May his soul rest in peace. In the 72 hours weather outlook, the SVG Met Services says a few scattered showers are forecast from time to time on the partly cloudy to cloudy skies across St. Vincent and the Grenadines during the next 72 hours. Moderate east-northeast to northeast trades are expected. Seas will be slight to moderate in open waters, with northerly swells peaking at 1.0 meter on the western coast and 2.0 meters on the eastern coast. In addition, the Met Services says there will be no significant haze intrusion within the forecast period. Now we hear that for the fourth consecutive year, Villa Top Halls residents has claimed first place in the Best Lit Garden category of the National 9 Mornings Christmas Lighting Competition. SVG-TV was present at the lighting ceremony last week, just before the announcement was made by the 9 Mornings Committee. Cecil Sasmaki, who plays a key role in organizing and helping with the lighting display, emphasized the hard work and dedication put in by the volunteers involved in the lighting project. Team, look how we coming.
I think we are pretty satisfied with what we have done this year. It took us about 3 weeks, every day, working every day, every weekend to put it all together. Lots of lights utilized, different colors lights to bring out the team in the particular areas. So I think all in all we are satisfied with the effort put in. We had this year about a team of 30 persons involved in the process. Intense work as usual. But the important thing is that as we work, we enjoy ourselves. We make sure that we are properly refreshed, and therefore, at the end of the day, it's total satisfaction for everyone in the effort and the time spent on completing the project.
Describing this year's lighting display, Mackie explained that the team focused on the various modes of travel to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, including travel by air and sea. The display also highlighted the many activities that visitors enjoy while on the island.
A number of features of planes, now that we have our international flights coming in abundance from different cities in the US, in Canada, in the UK, we have the airstrip where the planes land. So you see the airstrip featured there with different international flights, regional flights and local flights. So in the port that we have created, we have 2 cruise ships at berth, and we have another one angling to come into berth. And also we have the Grenadines ferries that play a very important role. And also we have the things that they enjoy when they come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines for Christmas. So we have featured in the display We have sea bathing, which is a major part of the enjoyment of persons when they visit the country. We have the waterfalls and the pools that they come to enjoy. We have La Soufrière in an eruption mode, but we also have zip lines, and that's one of the aspirations for the tourism product.
The 9 Mornings Christmas lighting competition has become a beloved tradition in St. Vincent and Grenadines, with residents competing each year to showcase their creativity and holiday spirit through elaborate Christmas displays. In other local news now, we hear as the year comes to a close, many individuals make New Year's resolutions to improve their health, but experts warn that most people go about it the wrong way, expecting quick results and trying to change too much too soon. And this was the key message shared by mental health counselor Elika Matthews, who appeared on NBC Radio's Face-to-Face program today. Matthews explained that while the intention to improve one's health is commendable, attempting drastic changes overnight is unrealistic and often leads to disappointment. Matthews highlighted that a rush approach can lead to burnt-out, discouragement, or even regression, as it doesn't allow individuals to build sustainable habits. Instead, she encourages people to focus on manageable incremental changes that can be maintained over time.
We just find it takes a long time to get there, and we never get there because people want to dive right in. Firstly, you don't have to wait till the 1st of January. You can start tomorrow to give yourself a little push. But pace yourself in the actions that you do, because many times we say we're going to cut out vegetables, we're going to cut out junk food and eat more vegetables. And we decide, okay, we're going to eat vegetables from the first, knowing that your body isn't accustomed to this, so it's easy to slip back. So ask yourself, how can I incorporate the healthy things that are needed until I have that level of discipline to do it more often? So it might mean, whereas you may have had more potatoes, you're now having more vegetables, and you're trying to incorporate that. You might still have the little potato here or there, unbalanced to your vegetables or your meats, and over time you'll be able to give yourself that good plate ratio. So if you don't know what it is, feel free to speak to a nutritionist, but half your plate should in fact be vegetables. If it is that you want to join the gym so that you can lose some weight, remember, it's not going to be, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. If 2 days a week is all that you can start with, start. And as you move forward, you will see your progress, and that will give you the necessary motivation to be able to identify, I can do this little by little, and you will keep adding days until you get to the 5 days necessary. So if you know you're not accustomed, or you start heavy and then you just cancel out, you have to start with the small steps, so go little by little.
Right.
Matthews also pointed out that discipline plays a critical role in achieving lasting success, and recommends that individuals looking to improve their health start with simple, realistic goals.
To break out of habits, I'm going to say persons definitely need discipline. And discipline can be doing something 1 day and then extending it to 2 days, then extending it to 3 days, and how much necessary. Oftentimes the problem with habits is we get frustrated in we're not able to change it today for tomorrow. But when you find yourself breaking a habit, you go back to doing the right thing or the thing that you want to accomplish, and you would find after a while it becomes commonplace. So give yourself grace to develop the discipline that you need. Be able to identify, I have to push myself, because for as much as we can say, we have people there to keep us accountable, we too have to make these small steps. So when it comes to changing habits, small steps, being able to identify the goal and not overwhelm yourself in what you're doing, but small steps moving forward.
The councillor reiterated that sustainable health improvements don't happen overnight, but with patience, discipline, and small steps, it is possible to achieve lasting positive change. Local business operators are being given an opportunity to join an insightful webinar on Wednesday, January 15th, entitled Roadmap for Women-Led and Owned MSMEs in the Eastern Caribbean to Effectively utilize payment platforms. The webinar, which is scheduled for 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, will be hosted under the Organization of American States Economically Empowered Women for Equitable and Resilient Societies, Women's Economic Empowerment, OASWE project. The objective of the 3-year project is to enhance the capacity of small-scale women entrepreneurs in participating OAS member states. According to the national focal point for the project, the Center for Enterprise Development, Inc., in this engaging session, OASWE consultant Annie Bertrand will present a practical and user-friendly roadmap that is specifically tailored for women-led and owned micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs. The CD urges local entrepreneurs to ensure that they join the webinar, as they will gain valuable insights into the fintech providers operating in the Eastern Caribbean and learn best practices from successful women MSMEs on how to effectively leverage payment platforms. Also on the webinar's panel will be women MSMEs who have successfully utilized payment solutions and sharing their experiences. Entrepreneurs are being encouraged to sign up for the webinar online. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is among the 6 countries of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States in which the OASWE project is being executed. The others are Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia, and in the Central America, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. In some police news, we heard that the police have arrested and charged Max Roy Campbell, a 30-year-old businessman of Montgrinon, Georgetown, with the offenses of using a false instrument and attempted forgery. The police say investigations revealed that on December 21, 2024, at Argyle, Campbell used a false Bahamian passport, knowing or believing it to be false, with the intention of inducing an immigration officer to accept it as genuine. In the same incident, Campbell was further charged with attempting to commit forgery by performing an act more than merely preparatory to the commission of the offense. On December 27, 2024, that's today, Campbell appeared before the Serious Offences Court, where he pleaded not guilty to the charges. He was granted bail in the sum of 10,000 EC dollars with one surety. Stop notices have been placed at all ports of entry and exit, and Campbell was ordered to surrender all travel documents. The matter was adjourned to January 7, 2025. And the police have arrested and charged Vashon Thomas, a 20-year-old electrician of Glen, with multiple firearm and ammunition offenses. The police say investigations revealed that on December 18, 2024, at approximately 9:05 a.m. in Glen, Thomas was found in possession of the following: 100 rounds of 9mm ammunition without a license issued under the Firearms Act, 1 black AR-15 automatic rifle, a prohibited weapon without the authorization of the minister, 71 rounds of 5.56mm ammunition classified as prohibited ammunition without the authorization of the minister. Thomas was charged with the offenses of possession of ammunition, possession of a prohibited weapon, and possession of prohibited ammunition. Thomas appeared before the Serious Offences Court today, where he pleaded not guilty to the charges. He was granted bail in the sum of 20,000 EC dollars with 2 sureties. As part of his bail conditions, Thomas is required to report to the Calico Police Station every Monday and Wednesday between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m., surrender all travel documents, and comply with stop notices placed at all ports of entry and exit. He was also placed on curfew from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. The matter was adjourned to January 7, 2025. In another firearm-related incident, police have arrested and charged Grandisha Kane, a 21-year-old resident of Glen, with the offense of possession of a prohibited weapon. The police said during the course of investigations related to a previously seized prohibited firearm, it was revealed that Kane had possession of the weapon. Kane was formally charged today. Later today, Kane was appeared before the Serious Offences Court, where she pleaded not guilty to the charge. She was granted bail in the sum of 20,000 EC dollars with 1 surety. As part of her bail conditions, Kane is required to report to the Calico Police Station every Monday and Wednesday between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., surrender all travel documents, and comply with stop notices checkpoints placed at all ports of entry and exit. The matter was adjourned to January 7, 2025. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force says it remains dedicated to enforcing firearm laws and is steadfast in its efforts to combat the spread of illegal weapons in our communities.